This institution has been out in front on the issue of patient safety and preventing harm for a very long time. We've done it because we believe it's the right thing, but we've also done it because our patients demand it. We believe, and our board believes, that only when you're open and honest about how you're doing will you learn from your own mistakes and do even better.
What the BI Deaconess did is, in exceptional service to the patients and families you're privileged to serve, is you set a bold aim to eliminate preventable harm, an audacious goal. One of the things that many leaders do is they set bold goals, but then they don't tell anybody just in case they don't achieve them. What you have done is told everybody. So you have made yourself exquisitely accountable to achieve your goals. You then confronted the realities of practice and used the tension associated with that to drive extraordinary change and improvement.
The concept of harm is a challenging one for us as clinicians to be comfortable with. We certainly never mean to cause harm when we come to work every day, but unless we challenge ourselves to really be critical of the work that we're doing, we'll never really learn well enough to do the work better in the future.
We took a line of zero tolerance for preventable harm, and that required us to define exactly what we are talking about when we talk about harming patients, and measuring it and looking at it continuously. That provided a level of focus that allowed us to move forward in a way that we never have before.
So our problem statement for ventilator-associated pneumonia is ventilator-associated pneumonia happens to 10 to 20% of people who are ventilated for more than 2 days. It doubles the risk of death after adjustment for severity. It costs $20,000 per case, and you can prevent between 50 and 80% of it, and we aren't doing it.
In early January of 2006, the medical center decided that ventilator-associated pneumonia was a problem, and that based on evidence, we can reduce the incidence by implementing a ventilator-associated pneumonia, or VAP bundle.
We implemented things that were known to prevent ventilator-associated pneumonia, and they sound silly when you say them out loud. Elevate the head of the bed. Try and take the patient off the ventilator every day. Turns out brushing the teeth is really important to prevent ventilator-associated pneumonia. But what we worked hard to do was embed that in workflow in a way that was really easy to do at the bedside.
When we put our VAP bundle interventions into place, over time, we saw that as our compliance with our ventilator bundle increased, our ventilator-associated pneumonia rates, our patients who actually got pneumonia while they were on the ventilator, decreased drastically. And we have reduced our rate of VAP by over 90% here at the medical center.
The lived experience of being somebody who attends in the ICU it's a totally different place. And so we prevented somewhere in the order of 2,000 or 2,500 ventilator-associated pneumonias, depending on how you count, and at a $20,000 a case and a doubling of the risk of death. That's a lot of people who we've affected.
So you want to hold my hand here?
Since we began to really focus on eliminating preventable harm, we've had some great victories. But it's also made us realize that the work will never be done, and that means our strategies are constantly evolving.
Striving to meet our goal of eliminating preventable harm has really driven us to look at our fall prevention strategies and refine them over time to prevent falls in the future. The strategies have really fallen into 3 different buckets. The first bucket is around supplies and equipment, the second is around process changes, and the third is around patient education and communication. We bought new chair alarms that alert the staff that the patient's getting out of the chair as soon as they start to get up. The second thing that we've done is we have the ability to rent beds that are lower in height. And the third thing is really a low-tech strategy, but it's slipper socks that have treads on both sides.
We also round hourly. We check every patient to see if there's anything that they need, specifically asking if they need any help with anything. We do a quick check of their room to make sure that there's nothing obstructing any pathways. We make sure that they can reach everything that they need, including their call light.
We've also implemented a patient education sheet and signs in multiple languages that remind patients not to get up without assistance.
The overall goal is that we don't want any of our patients to fall while they're in the hospital.
By consistently implementing these strategies as they've evolved over time, we've decreased our preventable falls with injury from a high of 10 in 1 year down to 1 this past year.
Having a prominent institution-wide goal around eliminating harm has brought forward enormous engagement and a wealth of ideas from our most valuable resource, which is our employees.
At great academic medical centers, everybody views interactions with patients as an opportunity to improve the next. Paula Lemieux is one of the operating room nurses at BIDMC, and she asked herself whether or not we could improve the moment of timeout.
Our safety check has been completed. Are we ready for a timeout?
Yes, we are.
A timeout is a universal safety protocol.
It's that moment in a surgical procedure of reverence before we begin the operation that we review the details of the operative case.
No allergies. Patient got Capsol 2 grams.
We had a meeting to come up with an idea to prevent wrong patient, wrong procedure, wrong person surgery.
We are performing a right inguinal hernia repair.
I came up with the idea to not mount the blade on the scalpel until a timeout is performed. And do we have all the available equipment in the room?
Yes, I do. I have 50,000 units of BASI.
It was quickly recognized by all members of the surgical team as a recommendation that made eminent sense.
Are we all happy with the timeout?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. By not mounting the blade on the scalpel, it's an extra step in prevention of harm to a patient.
And Blake?
Thank you.
Not mounting that blade on a cutting instrument was accepted with enthusiasm throughout the surgical service and has become a standard of care at the Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center.
I frequently get asked, what is it that you are doing differently? And there are 100 different things that we're doing differently. But you know, it's really not so much about each individual project. It's about a wholesale change in culture. And we think constantly about how do we improve our quality of care, how do we make things more safe, and how do we reduce any type of harm that could be there for our patients.
I come to the BI Deaconess not only as a healthcare professional, but I also come here as a patient. So as I look at BI Deaconess, do I see an organization that knows it's expert but not perfect? Absolutely. And every day when I walk in here, I know that you are confronting the defects, you're confronting the suffering, you're confronting the harm. That's where I want to have my care. I believe the only goal is getting to zero. It has to be. Understanding that it's a journey. And it was one of the leaders of your medical staff who said to everybody in the world, so which one is okay? Which harm is okay? And I think it's focusing on the pursuit, understanding the complexities, and achieving that goal is still a place that we have to go.